Everyone, please welcome Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I personally welcome all administration, counselors, faculty and staff, family members, distinguished guests, and most importantly, classmates. In writing this speech, I was given a lot of suggestions and pieces of advice, opinions on which Pinterest quotes to use and which jokes weren't funny. The most prevalent recommendation, however, was to keep my comments brief. As my mentors and colleagues surely know, I speak and write concisely, so this should stay under 2 hours. This evening, I've been afforded the opportunity to speak at such a momentous time in our lives, an award for surrendering my social life to academics, and to offer guidance as we enter the so-called real world. It is expected that I personify optimism and confidence, even though I'm just as anxious, ambivalent, and ignorant of the future as the next graduate. However, I would like to venture to say that it's not too much different from Capital, or at least our past 4 years have prepared us for whatever the future may hold. So, when we are off attending to important adult responsibilities, I hope you do not lose sight of where we came. I admit at first that I was embarrassed to be going to Capital High School, and I didn't feel that way until I realized much of the student body held that sentiment. I was told the name Capital read below average to admissions officers, and that there was an apparent lack of opportunities to excel. Not to mention, the media and community don't always celebrate our successes, but they have a knack for publicizing our failures. Nevertheless, class of 2015, we learned what it means to earn respect, because no one has ever handed it to us. Just this week, our boys lacrosse team won the state championship to go along with our football, chess, and football state titles, as well as our win at the Scores academic competition. We offer the most AP classes of any high school in the county, and they are taught in the classroom by teachers who actually care for us, as opposed to virtual school. The pride of Capital High School has maintained an 11-year winning streak at the Daily Mail Festival, received superior ratings for all 3 bands, and sends students to represent us at all-state band. Our friends in the theater, dance company, orchestra, and the VIPs brave the stage for annual productions, pep assemblies, and competitions to perform in front of the entire student body and to snag a regional win or best textbook title. Nor can we forget our 5-time grand champions of the Kanawha County Art Show. I would love to take up more of your time in listing off all of our achievements, but just know, like the rest of you, I am proud to be graduating from Capital, and I realize the opportunities are there if you seek them out. Although I was never among the passionate artists, or surprisingly, the football and lacrosse players, I found pride in my school by taking on challenging classes and getting involved in the variety of clubs and organizations, participating in Gender Swap Day or Homecoming Week, and enjoying yoga during ACES. Capital has become something like a younger sister, and that can complain about it all we want, but we are low-key proud, and will call out anyone that decides to pick on her. We have invested time and the energy to make our contributions to Capital High, and to make something we are proud of, whether as performers, athletes, leaders, or just as students. And I encourage you, no matter where you find yourselves in life, to be invested 100%, to lead a life of which you are proud. But as Capital has taught us, if it is a life less than what you're capable of living, I hope you find the will and courage to change it. My parents, in answering the age-old question, where do babies come from, told me and my sister from China. I was adopted from Quzhou when I was 3 years old, and my sister from Yichun when she was 2. When I was little, I used to refer to my Chinese parents as my real parents, as if the dynamics of family could be reduced to genetics, and an adopted family could never be real. Throughout high school, we have all made for ourselves our own little adopted families by sharing unforgettable memories, facing challenges together, and learning difficult life lessons. I personally found a family through my Spanish classes with Senora Alcazar. As I ramble on about some each of you can draw a parallel to the families you have made at Capitol in the last 4 years, taking some time to examine their influence on the person you have become. Together, my classmates threw some rad parties, ate delicious food, took a lot of silly pictures, and bonded over a dramatic telenovela. But we also hid outside the door to avoid speaking in Spanish, added O's to the end of English words when we didn't know the translation, and awkwardly stayed silent when Senora lectured us. We all knew, however, as in a coach, a director, or another teacher, that she only pushed us because she had the confidence in our genuine desire to learn, and in our ability to improve. In this way, Senora drilled into our heads the difference between Sarah and a star, and when to use the imperfect, but also to take risks, to step outside our comfort zones, and never give up. Lessons that could never come from a textbook. From the entire language hallway, we learned how love is expressed through actions, through support, surprises, spending time together, and working to make them proud. And as we say goodbye to our last Amity Scholar, Renee, we understand how easily and quickly people come into our lives and share a part of themselves, and how satisfying it is to see others happy. Contrary to what Mr. Dorsey teaches us in taxonomy, those belonging to the same family don't always descend from a common ancestor, share morphological traits, or possess comparable genetic characteristics. Sometimes families just contain those people we have evolved with, and that is what Capitol has given us. Congratulations, class of 2015. We have made it this far, to the conclusion of my speech, but also to high school. We have much to celebrate, and an excuse to eat a lot of food, both of which are well-deserved. I can't make any promises about the future, about how these will be the best years of our lives, or that whatever we set our minds to, we can accomplish. Luckily, the future comes one day at a time, and we have the power to make it proudly our own. As we come to face the future, as we go far from here to do great things, or small things, in great ways, I ask that you remember how much you grew up here at Capitol, your flexibility developed by surprise schedule changes, and patience acquired from lengthy project wisdom messages. Remember your adopted families, and that Capitol will always be a place to call home. Finally, remember to wear your seatbelts. Make good decisions. Class of 2015, we have graduated.